Okay guys, welcome to the Successful Showgirl. My name is Kitty and this month of Motivational March I'm giving you free coaching every single day on how to make more money as a performer through getting more bookings, improving your rates, multiple income streams and all that jazz. Okay, so yesterday we talked about adding multiple income streams to your already existing things that you do. So as a performer, you've got loads of talents and skills that people would love to learn from. The majority of the time though, people aren't capitalising on that, okay? So we talked yesterday at length about, yes, you can earn more money by increasing your fees, you can get more bookings, but essentially there's only a finite amount of hours in a day. So to make more money, you can add things into your revenue streams, such as classes, teaching, whether that be online classes, workshops, regular weekly classes. It could be digital products, so teaching people how to do something, creating a course, creating, that could be like a performing course, but it could also be a how to make certain costumes course. It could be a how to look after your mindset course. Whatever you've got a skill in, you need to be honing in on that and deciding, can I actually make some money out of this? It could be completely unrelated and you could have like a day job in something like tech or something like that, and it could be how to use certain things to organise yourself. It could be anything. You don't even have to sell it to performers. You could be selling to anybody. Like I've had people do a dog training digital product because they were dog trainers, but they didn't want to keep working as a dog trainer. They wanted some like passive income, so they created that. They're not selling that to performers, they're selling that to dog owners. Like it's irrelevant, okay? You will have skills that you aren't utilising, okay? So that's another way. Creating events is another way. Putting on shows is another way. There's loads of different things. So today I'm going to talk about how to take all those things and bring them together and create an offer suite, okay? So I'm going to walk you through from the beginning how I created mine. So let's go back to 2020. Up to 2020, I'd been a dance teacher and a performer for like almost 15 years, okay? So I had those expertise. I'd been a kids dance teacher, but I also performed burlesque and circus. Then COVID happened and my business fully shut down, okay? I lost that whole business. I didn't do any online classes the first lockdown. I went off and I became a care worker. And then when classes started opening back up, I had my relationship with my husband had broken down and I decided to move 2 hours away. So I closed my current studio and that was it, business over. No more teaching business that I'd had for years. I literally didn't have anything other than an online presence of what I'd been building over the time that COVID was happening. So while COVID was happening, I was giving free advice to performers, exactly how I'm doing now, in a group, and I was literally just doing it for fun. I was doing it because I had nothing else to do. I was literally going mental at home and I wanted to do something nice to make me feel good. So I started up that group. It's now called the Successful Showgirl, as you all know. Originally it was called the Martini Glass Girls Guide to Becoming a Performer, and it was just meant to be, while COVID was on, me giving a bit of advice, okay? After I'd moved to a different town and started a new life, I was like, shit, what am I going to do? Like, I don't have a dance school, and for my whole life I've run a dance school. I don't have any performing at the minute because performing was events were still off. We were still like kind of in the last bits of COVID. All the things I'd done over my whole lifetime, I didn't have. And I didn't want to, I talked yesterday about my carer job. I didn't want to do that anymore because I understood that it was exhausting me and I could make more money from doing things that I'm good at than doing that. So I made the decision that I was going to start coaching performers. And instead of doing one-to-one coaching, I created like a course, and that was called the Showgirl Success Strategy, and I still sell that course to this day, all right? My point of the story is, from nothing, like having no business, no nothing, my mum lent me 600 quid to get out of the house that I was living in and to rent somewhere else, and I had to just start with nothing. I had no furniture in my house. I literally started from scratch. So that was 6 years ago, all right? And now I've built a business that earned 80-something K last year, all right? From sitting at home with a toddler as well. So my point is, it's not about what you already have. You can build on top of your already existing knowledge. You just need to understand how you can capitalise on the skills that you already have, and that is what I am going to teach you, okay? So today, you know, I mean business because I've got Penny's whiteboard out, all right? So let me bring it over. You know that I'm like serious about something when the whiteboard comes out. So today we're going to talk about creating an offer suite, because this is what I've done strategically over the past 5 to 6 years to create a business that earns that level of money whilst I work like a few hours a day. That's it, okay? I don't ever work Fridays unless I'm performing. I don't work weekends unless I'm performing. And I don't really do anything in the mornings until I've done this live, and then I start waking up and start doing stuff, okay? So in my offer suite to start with, let's go back to 2020, and I'm going to show you how I built mine so you can start thinking about how you could build yours. So in 2020, I just created one digital course, okay, called the Showgirl Success Strategy. At first, that was a group coaching course, so multiple people would book onto it and I would do it with them. And sometimes we did it as a full day course where people would like give up their Saturday and they would do it online with me, or we would do it as over like 8 weeks, and they'd do like an hour over 8 weeks. That's how I ran it for the first year or two, maybe, okay? And then I started to think, actually, I could make this into a pre-recorded course that people can buy at any time. So I started with my strategy course, okay? And then I thought, well, I could start teaching some workshop alongside this, okay? So I'm doing my strategy course, that's making a bit of money, and I can do a workshop every weekend or every other weekend. So I added in workshops. So let's say once a month I would probably sell like 7 strategy courses. I'm used to sell them at 200 quid, so probably make £1.5 grand from the strategy course a month. And then from the workshops, I used to do martini glass workshops, and let's say I did 2 every month, that was like 1,000 quid. So the workshops would be 1,000 quid. So if I was just doing that back then, that would cover all my bills and stuff like that, okay? But now everything's so much more expensive. I've got a kid, I can't be away every other weekend teaching workshops, so I've had to think of other ways to make more money. At this point as well, I also thought, do you know what I really want to do? I want to have an event where everyone comes to where I live, and it's like a 2-day event, and I teach everybody about like things to do with performing, but we also do workshops. And the conference, the Showgirl conference, was born. So we had the Showgirl conference, okay, and at the Showgirl conference, the first year sold 25 tickets at 97 quid. So that's about 2.5 grand in it. But then I had to pay 1,000 quid for the room hire, so that was 1,500, and then I paid out probably about 500 quid for teachers. So in the end, off that conference, I made 1,000 quid, let's say. But, okay, so that 1,000 quid doesn't really sound very much for all the effort that went into that. But actually, what happened was, those people that bought into the Showgirl conference came for 2 days and absolutely loved it. And guess what happened? Some of these people bought the strategy course, the pre-recorded version. And then some of these people also booked me for workshops. So already I'd multiplied the amount of money that I was earning from this, because I got probably about 5 workshop bookings from that. So that's already, I've got 2.5 grand's worth of work from running that event. And then loads of people booked the strategy course as well. So made loads of money off that as well. Okay. Now, I'm going to have to write this up in my hand. My offer suite is now much bigger than this, okay? So I'm going to rub all that off and start again. So I'm going to start with digital products. I have 3 digital products. And of those, I have strategy course, which is teaching performers how to make more money, okay? So it's basically teaching you how to get bookings. That is what that course does. Yeah, and how to create a personal brand as a performer. Then, because I've started doing really well with creating passive income from my digital products, I created a course that was teaching other performers how to do the same, which is passive income for performers. So I have that digital project as well. Okay, so bear with me, it will all come together at the end, so stay with me guys, alright? Then I created another course, after I started like getting close to that 6-figure mark, I created a course called 6-Figure Showgirl, and that teaches all this stuff, how to create an offer suite that brings everything together so that you multiply your earnings. So I've also got 6-Figure Showgirl. So this one is 97 quid, this one is 197 quid, this one is 297 quid. Obviously I do deals and stuff like that. But can you say, that's the amount that I'm charging for those. Then, every year I run the conference. Now, I now get 100 people in that conference and I sell the tickets for between 157 and 197 pounds. So let's say that whole event makes around 17,000 quid. Jesus, math skills. Okay, so that makes 17,000 pounds every year. 7 grand of that though we can wipe off because I've got to pay for the dinner, I've got to pay for the performers and the teachers, and I've got to pay for the room hire. So really, from that one event, I make £10,000. Now that is 10 times what it was when I started it 4 years ago. Why is that? Well, that is because those 25 people that originally came to the conference told other people about it. Some of those people also did my instructor course. So after I'd done that conference, I found out I was pregnant and I was like, shit, what am I going to do? I'm going to have to add another income stream in here. I'm going to create an instructor training course. So I now have an instructor training course called Showgirl SAS. So a lot of the people who came to the first conference, maybe like 10 of them, did my instructor training. My instructor training then was 147 quid. It's like 300 quid now. So that's 297 now. So 10 people did that course, so that brought me in more money. But then from those 10 people, they had students then. And they then told all their students about the conference. So the next year I had 50 people, because each person that came brought people with them. And every year that gets more and more and more. From word of mouth it grows, which also means that every time I get more people in here, I also get more people in here, and I also get more people buying from here. Yeah? So, in my instructor training, they pay $297 to do the instructor training, but they also pay a monthly membership fee of $24.99. So every time I get a new instructor, not only do they pay a flat $297, they also pay me then $24.99 a month. So if I've got about 35 to 40 instructors at the minute. If I've got 40 instructors, let's say, right now, what is that? I'm not going to do that maths off the top of my head, I can't be bothered. I can't find my calculator, so I might have to. Well, 10 would be 2,000, right, so that's 10 grand, isn't it? I should have just done it off the top of my head anyway. No, it's not, it's £1,000. So that's £1,000 a month, sorry, that comes into my account on a recurring revenue basis, okay? So just from this growing, this has grown, which means I've got more of this money. This also grows, so my monthly revenue also grows, but then this grows because people want to do these courses because they've enjoyed what they've learned at the conference, but then also these people tell their students to try these courses because it's helped them, And these people sometimes flow into here, and these people sometimes flow into here. Can you see? It's a constant wheel of revenue coming in. So that's how I've managed to grow it. And I've got like other things that I've added in. Let's say we added in an event here. Someone comes and watches your event like a show. Okay? So you've got an audience full of people in the show, and then they've loved it, they've really enjoyed it, and you also run burlesque classes or aerial classes or whatever. So this is classes. Excuse my writing. Okay, someone comes to your show, they love it, you tell them at the end of the show, the next show is, so that you're selling tickets to the next show already, but you also tell them, we also do classes if you've enjoyed this tonight and you fancy having a crack at it. Some of those people, not all, but some, will give this a go. And then some of these people who've enjoyed this, and they've come to classes every week for a few years, might think, do you know what? I want to learn a bit more about that. Or that your digital product might be a course or something like that about how to rhinestone a costume or something like that. So those people who come to your burlesque classes might then buy your digital product of how to rhinestone their costumes. And then those people who've enjoyed that might come to one of your other events, and you're constantly doing a feedback loop of people who, if you just taught one thing or you just did one thing, if I'm just performing, then all people can do is book me as a performer, and that's the only way I can make money. If I'm performing and teaching, then that's great. But if I have all these other strings to my bow as well, the people that see me perform, I can feed into one thing. The people who come to my classes, I can feed into something else. Then when they've tried that other thing, they might think, do you know what, I might fancy having a go at that as well. And then the loop continues, and that's how my business continues to grow with minimal effort, really. Like, it grows each year with minimal effort. I'm a stay-at-home mum. I obviously perform occasionally when I feel like it. I also do these live sessions with you guys, but the only day I properly have to work is Wednesday, because that's the day that I run my membership call. So I do one membership call with my membership. So I also, in this loop, have a membership. That membership is for performers who want to learn more about the business side of performing, okay? So some of these people buy this, some of these people don't. But some of these people also come to this. Some of these people are also in this. Some of these people also have done my classes, yeah? Everything's interlinked, okay? So the point I'm making is I only have to work now Wednesday for an hour, and then I run an hour course with my instructors at the minute. But when that course is finished, at the minute it's the first time I've run it, so it'll be in person. But when I've done it once in person, that then becomes another digital product. The spin-off course from that will become a digital product, and people will be able to just buy that. So people will become an instructor, they'll enjoy being an instructor, they might come to the conference, then they might think, I want to do that extra add-on course because the others have done it, and then again the feedback loop continues. Does that make sense? So this is everything that I teach in Six Figure Showgirl. I teach people how to create something like this. So each module we go through, how could you set up classes, and you don't have to do all the things. I've only got all the things because now I've been doing it for 5 years, but when I started off, I still had that loop going on with a few products. Does that make sense? I hope so. So if you're somebody who is a performer but you also do a bit of teaching, you want to be thinking about how can I be feeding people back who've done one of these things into something else. If you're not telling people about your other products, I'm giving you guys this information now, but I'm telling you, you could learn all this in my Six Figure Showgirl course, and then you have the option to buy that or not. That's me feeding a free group who've signed up something for free into something that's paid, yeah? you can take it or leave it. Some of you guys come to the conference, some of you guys are my instructors, some of you guys have taken workshops or online classes with me, and some of you guys will never buy from me, and that is also fine. Yeah, but the point is, I want you to start thinking about how you can maximise the way you earn profit from the things you're creating. I spent years doing this strategy course every 6 months, not in person, it was online, but it was me sitting down and spending like 7 hours doing that course with people before I had the common sense to think, do you know what, why am I not just recording it when we do it, and then I can just make it a digital product that people can buy anytime. And also that gives me more people to sell to, because not everybody is in my time zone. So if I was doing 9 till 5 UK time, that would mean like the people who follow my free coaching in Australia couldn't join, or the people who were doing it in America couldn't join. Yeah, so I actually probably I dropped the price because I wasn't doing it in person. It was pre-recorded, so it makes no difference to me, but I was making more money because people can buy it anytime. Sometimes I'm in bed at night, I wake up in the morning and I've sold one of these products, and I've not been involved in that process. I don't do any paid ads. All I do is organic marketing, which is posting to Instagram. I've now started posting to YouTube, but I've literally only started that this month. I'm doing this free content for you guys, but this is something that I actually enjoy doing. Like, I would do this whether it was part of this loop or not. Does that make sense? Okay. So go away, guys. Please think about how you could set up your offer suite and how you could link what you offer currently into the other things that you offer. Because if you're not doing that, if you're teaching regular classes, you're not telling people about your workshops all the time, or you're not telling people about your online classes, or you're not telling people about an event that you're running, you're leaving money on the table, okay? And your students want to hear about it, because they don't want to see on Facebook or Instagram in a month's time that there was a workshop that they missed out on, or they couldn't get tickets for because they didn't know it was happening, okay? So don't let people be getting FOMO. You want to be telling people about these things, all right? If you want to learn more about how to do this in depth, like you want me to baby step you through it and walk you through every single one of these types of things and how to loop them back to each other, that is what I teach in Six Figure Showgirl. It's on sale at the minute, and it's 60 quid instead of 297 quid if you use the code MARCH. Okay, I'll link that down below. But if you buy it in March as well, you also get this, and this, all 3 courses. So how much money is that worth? 600 quid's worth of stuff for 60 quid. All right, so I'll pop that in the link below, but let me know what you're thinking of adding to your offer suite. Try and do a little diagram like this where you put all your things on and see how you can loop each thing back into the other one. All right, guys, thanks for listening to me today, and I will see you all tomorrow, where I am going to start walking you through some of these things, and we're going to start with teaching classes tomorrow.